colors. Thank you. And now I'm about to bring up Julie Annixter. Hello, Julie's here. Julie is going to talk to you a little bit about, and Julie is the executive director at AIGA and the co-founder of Innovation Excellence. She's going to talk to you a little bit about the design students at Parsons and talk to you about a competition.
Thank you so much. Hi, everybody. It's great to be with you at Fuse. I, like others, have been coming to this conference for many years, and it's a wonderful design dialogue that, allows us to check in with each other. And now we're going to get a chance to check in with the next generation. And I just want to say that our mission at AIGA, really what we're up to, and if many of you, I think, already know this, but if you don't, what we're doing is we are really working hard to empower all designers, people just in high school up to Milton Glaser, all designers, to grow and succeed at every point in their career. So this is very much on mission for me to be with these three amazing women. And they're design students, but I want them each to tell you what they do in their day jobs or did in their day jobs, because they're remarkable. So what's going to happen now is each are going to come up and they're going to pitch a business concept that they've been working on for quite a while at the New School. And all three concepts are amazing. And after each one comes up and spends 5 minutes, I'm going to come back and facilitate a little quick discussion, mostly with those of you in the front of the room who we can hear, about how we could help take this concept further. So unlike the typical critique, no, not negative, positive. We are going to help these guys go further faster. And after all three are done, and they're all three different, diverse, incredible women with incredible projects, then we're going to vote. There will be a cell phone. There'll be a number on the screen that you can text 1, 2, or 3. They're going to be in order. Rose is 1, then we go 2, 3, and you'll get to vote. And the winner gets $500. However, I told them that they're all winners because they're here today, which is true. I also told them that I would write the other two a check for $500, but that comes with some conditions. And then the other thing is they're here to really have a conversation with all of you. So pitching, as we know, is about pitching an idea, but it's also really having a conversation with the audience. So that's what I encourage each of you to do. And without further ado, Rose, come on up.
Hi, everyone. Let's see. Okay. Very happy to be here. My name is Rose, and I am representing Parsons School of Design alongside Erin and Regina. Just to give you a little bit of background on our program, we are second-year graduate students in the Strategic Design and Management program, which basically compiles and pulls from various different design thinking methodologies, sustainability frameworks, foresight strategies, systems thinking, into a very practically oriented and studio-oriented 2-year degree. Now, this project we're going to be giving you a quick pitch of is our 1-year capstone, which we've spent the past year working on. The first 3 months was on intensive design research, and these past couple months we've spent in concept prototyping, testing, sort of business strategy. So I hope you enjoy. So without further ado, today I'm going to tell you how we are redefining the landscape for collaboration for the modern knowledge worker. This is Project Coefficients, a heuristic model for collaboration delivered through CoMake, a workflow software. So we have a huge problem with productivity in knowledge work, right? Think of the last time that you created a PowerPoint deck. How many people did you have to ask for that image? How many folders did you have to navigate through? How many storage locations did you search through? How many Slack messages did you send, right? This is a problem we're all experiencing. And as it turns out, this lack of self-proclaimed productivity is a direct result from these daily frustrations. This is derived from exchange, interaction, organization. We have knowledge workers navigating multiple social technologies, using multiple different storage platforms, navigating complex webs of content structure and hierarchical folder structures. Now, we're all interacting, whether we think it's direct or indirect, and whether we consider it collaboration. As it turns out, the more online coordination required to accomplish said task, the more frustration is reported. Now, this is why we have a problem. With a compounded growing need for interaction paired with digital technology, we have this world, this collaborative world, saturated and bogged down by inefficiency. 50% of our work week is spent on interaction with coworkers and company. We spend at least an hour and a half a day searching and gathering for information. Now, if you take a team of 6 and multiply that, that can be up to 45 hours weekly just looking for the things we need. We also know that this type of work is not going anywhere, right? This knowledge work is at an all-time high. Jobs requiring interpersonal communications management skills are market-wide have increased by 83%. So we live in this world of interaction, right, saturated by all of this digital technology. But the way that we define collaboration is outdated. It's a generalization of the past. How I define collaboration is not simply this working together, this act of working together. Collaboration is a system. It's a network of participatory process and output. And in order to solve for your productivity, you need to understand your system. This is accomplished through coefficients and CoMake combined, delivering targeted collaborative insights through a modern workflow relationship browser. Coefficients itself is a heuristic model that redefines collaboration into 4 core frameworks oriented around process and product. Now, as a standard knowledge worker, the way a design strategist collaborates is fundamentally different than a product manager or than an architect. These frameworks are derived from a very complex matrix of influence determined by sort of type of interaction, your type of deliverable, how frequently you're interacting, the platforms you're using, your team structure. Now, for each framework, there's a golden ideal, right? A perfect balance of variables that will produce your optimal efficiency. CoMake unlocks that ideal. CoMake is the informed product. It's a cloud-based software-as-a-service technology platform that provides a universal search cross-platform and centralizes your team and your workflow and content activity into one centralized access point. Now, between these two solution components, we are navigating the market for human resource management and social technology. Coefficients sits at the middle of research theory, team structure, and admin insights. It's less rigid than holacracy and agile, more grounded than these high-level research theories, and it provides more targeted insights than these sort of generic admin consoles we have. Coefficients is in this market valued at close to $2.6 billion. CoMake, on the other hand, is advantaged as a social technology because it integrates with its competitors. McKinsey purports that the potential value unlocked by this social technology market is up to $1.2 trillion. Now, they say with the right organization and the right transformational structure. Together, CoMake and coefficients combined are 2 key parts that solve the equation of productivity. Coefficients is your diagnostic, the way to understand your system, delivered through CoMake, the informed social technology platform. Now, Charlotte Beers said that collaboration is highly overrated when you don't have the right thing to do. And what I'd like to add is that collaboration is only overrated if you don't have the correct framework for your team and the right tool to use. Collaboration is fundamentally a system, and we need systems thinking. This is Project Coefficients, delivered through CoMake and the new world of workflow. Thank you.
Wow. So a couple of ideas from me off the top, and then I'd love to hear from you. Very smart, and that's a big pain point for so many companies. I would definitely want to see a demo, for sure. And I would also love to see what it is on one page. And even though it's sort of I don't know, for me it's kind of a like tried and true rubric, seeing Slack and Google Drive, like columns with, circles, like what does this have that those don't have? And that'll only get you so far, because really what you need to do is get this into a company. like when our friend John Gleason over here used to run design operations at P&G. That would have been a good company to get it into. Or Pepsi, or find a forward-thinking, design-driven company, or a company that isn't design-driven, as we were just saying, that wants to be, and show the leader, and get an audience with the leader, which I'm sure you can do, how this would really differentiate them, because their teams will not be frustrated all the time like so many of us are, if we really tell the truth. And I would also just really look at Slack, the case study, the new channel we all have to be on, because they have been incredibly successful. So what did they do right that Basecamp didn't do? Okay, what else would we do? Where's my time? I can't see it. Your hair is blocking it. Okay. What else could we do to help Rose with this amazing thing? Stand up and say it loud, please.
Hi, my name's Sherry. I'm the co-founder of an architecture studio. I'm definitely one of your customers. Along with the demo, I would do an example of the before because it would make us laugh and cry. And then an after. I would simplify your language a little bit, and I also think there's a little bit of role for more design.
What was the last part? Simplify the language and
Design.
design. Yes, it could be simpler. It could be a lot. It could hit you in the face simpler. What else? Some other ideas for Rose? Anybody? Please, back there.
Make it a little more human and approachable. I mean, that definitely is a certain audience, like project management professionals, but I think the average crowd might need to tone down.
Yeah. And when we talk about dumbing down, we heard Neil talk about his partner losing their $700 glasses on the airplane. Like if you asked me how much time I waste every day looking for stuff, that is a pain point. And if you made me write it down on a big piece of paper and asked me what I would do at that time if I wasn't searching for files, I would be motivated. What else? What else would help Rose? Come on, you guys. You're creatives. You're designers. I know you can. In the back.
I just have a thought. I know that coefficients is a thought process, and co-make is the platform through which you apply that thought process. Could it be one brand? Could it have one brand name? I'm curious about your insight.
Yeah, that's a great thought. I work for CoMake right now. I'm happy to give you a demo if you want. I am working on sort of incorporating coefficients into CoMake, and right now I'm sort of strategically deciding whether I want to keep them separate or combine them. And so the reason I sort of pitch it as separate is because I haven't quite made that decision yet, but it's definitely on the table to consider.
And would you be willing to pilot it with anybody in this room?
More than happy to.
Okay, so
Yeah.
there you go. Rose, thank you so much.
Thank
Let's
you.
give her a round. And by the way, her day job, in addition to getting a master's degree in design, strategy, and management, is she runs the E-Lab at Parsons, right?
Yes.
She runs the E-Lab at Parsons. So next is Regina Law, and when I said to Regina, what do you do? She said, oh, I'm the director of partnerships for the new school. So she's got multiple purposes up here today. And we're delighted to have you here. Welcome, Regina.
Thank you so much. Hi, everyone. I am delighted to be here today to talk to you about Nudge, a platform that will enable savings through the power of community, consciousness, and coaching. One of my first memories is of my mom taking me around my house, showing me nooks and crannies where she had shoved $5 and $10 bills. This was her way of saving for a rainy day. Don't worry, as I got older, she has gotten more sophisticated. She now wraps those dollars in tinfoil so that they don't burn up if the house ever catches on fire. Growing up in an environment where savings literally was in the walls that surrounded me, I was shocked to find out that 69% of Americans have less than $1,000 saved. This is a number that research has shown can prevent homelessness if in the case of a job loss or a sudden health scare. What was it about savings that made it so hard, even when I saw banks and fintech companies making great strides in creating great products? I dove a little bit deeper into the research, and I found some shocking things, like 62% of an average American's income is spent on essential needs like food, housing, and transportation. That there are 37 million Americans that are unbanked in the United States and who believe that banks don't care about their needs at all. And that 78% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck, with 70% reporting that they have some level of debt. These statistics kind of paint a bleak picture, but I wanted to find out what that meant to somebody who was living their life out in the world. So I talked to Americans from across the country at varying income levels and at varying levels of financial prowess, and I want to share their stories with you today. I work 2 jobs, but that money isn't mine. It belongs to Capital One and to pay bills. After everything, I'm lucky if I can buy a sandwich. All the savings advice I see is for people with more money than me. It is not for the working class. I just do what I need to survive. I'm Black and Puerto Rican, so I know what it's like to be broke. It is part of the culture. These stories really changed my thinking. It's not that we don't have the right product or that people don't care and they're too lazy to save. They're deeply concerned about their financial wellness. They just don't know how or where to begin in their savings journey, and they feel like the system is against them. And so what I wanted to do was open up this system to really bring people in so that they could save. And so this is where I got to Nudge. Nudge is a platform that will make savings within reach through the power of community, coaching, and consciousness. Community means that you have the support of a team. We match people with people that are also on their financial journey so you can rely on them for advice, support, and motivation. In this way, Nudge becomes like your cheerleader. Consciousness means that you spend money intelligently and with intention. We want people to get reminders of their savings goals on a daily basis and also send them tips and tricks so that they can spend intelligently and also efficiently. In this way, Nudge becomes like your Jiminy Cricket. Coaching means you have access to professional help. We match people with the tools and resources that they need for their specific financial situation and also connect them to professional financial resources. In this way, we become like your personal trainer. We want to make savings within reach. We want to make savings possible again. And we also want to bring some joy into financial management. Nugget, our mascot, is a manifestation of this joy. And we utilize Nugget across a variety of platforms to help remind people of their savings goals. So say hello to Nugget. You can ask Nugget to tell you something you don't know. So did you know that if you saved 50 cents a day, you would have $180 by the end of the year? You can also tell Nugget that you've saved $2 today, and he will recognize that based on your financial journey, you've saved 25% of your savings goal. More importantly, he will connect you to your community. So Marco, who's on my team, is sending me a reward for reaching a significant milestone. And these rewards can be anything from stickers to pig-related jokes to great gifts of pigs twerking. We believe that savings can really be within reach. And if you want to test Nugget, we are sourcing our alpha community now, so please contact me after this. We believe the lack of savings in America is not a lack of personal responsibility. There are massive systemic and cultural challenges facing people today. We strive to connect people to the tools and resources that they need so that they can happily live their best financial life. Nudge will enable savings for all Americans and make savings and financial wellness the new culture of America. Thank you.
Wow. Okay, so, this is ready to pilot like today. And I remember something Seth Godin said to me a long time ago. He said, Julie, just go out and do 100 pilots. Like, just go out and do 100 pilots. So whoever knows people at Intuit, I do, other places, like, we should be introducing you to them, and they should be just doing pilots. Like, that's so obvious. And how do you get that word out? And I think it's all about the network. I'm just thinking about somebody I recently spoke at an AIGA conference, a guy named Sid Funches, who was at Vox Media, and he's now in Adobe's competitor, that one. You know the one I mean. And he is got a program called Schooled, which is to teach financial literacy to the country. And he's been talking to Morgan Stanley. And so I think for you, you're ready to go and get pilots. So what else would we say to this great designer? What else would you do to help her further her project? Back there. Did you say MathWorks? Mapper, okay.
Yeah, so we're testing right now, and some of the feedback we've gotten is that the problems people have with budgeting tools is that they are connected to their bank account, and there's a deep concern about data privacy and data security. So the reason why we use Nugget across a variety of platforms is You get to select. Do you want to connect it to your Mint app and then we can just auto track for you and you don't even have to think about it? Or do you want to text us and let us know that you've saved $2 versus us actually finding out through your data provider? So that's something we're testing right now with different users. And we're finding out that everyone has a different comfort level. And so we're trying to figure out strategically what is the right place to put it.
Who else? You again? Just teasing. No, I'm teasing you.
Yeah, I spoke for Wells Fargo, and we had something called the Daily Change Savings app, and I think this is similar. I don't know if you were you here yesterday, Mary?
I only was here for a couple minutes.
That's okay, but I think I love the chat-based element of this, that kind of human one-to-one, real quick, real-time thing. I just applaud you for doing that. I suggest you look at what Wells
Thank you.
Fargo's done, because you can do something else. Maybe having it attached to another bank.
Yes.
A place where someone has some savings.
Or
Yes.
to the Boy Scouts, the Girl Scouts, the Boys Club. I mean, there are a lot of junior achievement, young entrepreneurs, all of those groups. So what else? Who else got an idea? John, I know you have an idea for her. I'm picking on you.
Well, the thought I had, particularly when, Regina, you talked about the Black Puerto Rican perspective, and it sounded like that person had a cultural and personal perspective.
Yep.
I wonder in your matching process, when you match with community, if there's a way to screen or filter or encourage common cultural constructs or things so that together that community can move forward if there are things that they feel like that's holding them back.
Yes, that's brilliant and something we're testing as well.
Great, and unfortunately our time is up. But
Thank you so
another
much.
Great job. Okay, thank you. So this is Erin Tilley, and she's amazing. She has a great background in both communications and data development. She's worked for AECOM, the largest engineering company. She's worked for HP doing data development, and she's an amazing person, and she's looking for work. I just want to say that. And she likes working with other people in teams inside of companies in case you're hiring. And she lives in Chicago, and she's got a very cool project. Welcome.
All right. So thank you for letting me be here today, for listening. Again, my name is Erin Tilley, and I will be sharing with you Borrowed Good, which is connecting the dots to divert utensil waste. And really, it's a systems approach to reducing consumer plastic waste, and we're starting with the disposable utensil. So we live on the go here in the U.S. Our cup holder count is really important to us, and our coffee shops, they have drive-thrus on them. That's unique to the U.S. and just a couple other countries. And we value convenience above all else. This is an issue that we need to actually look at because in the morning, whenever we pick up our oatmeal or our Chobani yogurt and we eat it with a plastic spoon, right now, we assume that it just goes into the waste. Maybe it's recycled. It's fine. We're done with it. It's one use. Okay, done. But that spoon may find its way into our waterways and into the nose of a turtle like this fork did. Most likely, it will break down into microplastics, and we're finding that 95% of our tap water here in the U.S. has microplastics in it, and we don't know what that does to our body. So really, the plastic that we eat with is becoming the poison that animals and we, in turn, eat. This is an issue. Plastic is an issue. So really, where do we start? How about with that plastic spoon? I asked myself this year, how might we reduce disposable utensils in the U.S.? So we have really high expectations for that spoon or that fork. Right now, we want it to be available when needed, and we want it to be strong and durable. We want it to pierce our salad and not break. We don't want it to melt whenever we eat our soup. We want it to be clean when we want to use it. We don't want it to alter the taste of anything that we do use it on. And we want, after we use it, for it to be contained and disposable. And we want it to be at no cost to us. That's the expectation that we have here in the U.S. And we put that on restaurateurs who already operate at really tight margins. Even if they want to provide some reusable alternative or even biodegradable alternatives, they can't oftentimes. So how do we reduce the cost risk and introduce a different alternative? Well, I went out to people who were just eating with plastic forks and wanted to ask them, so what is your preferred experience? If I were to look at a different utensil, what is that? And through prototyping, through bringing out different options, every single one said, I want the metal fork, even the small metal fork. I want that. That's my preferred experience. So how do we bring that out? How do we allow consumers to have their ideal experience and lower the cost risk? How about if we view it as a community solution because it has a community impact? How about we look at the user's day and their week, not just how they eat lunch? So Borrowed Good is a circular economy service, and what it does is we provide metal utensils for takeout to restaurants to then provide to their customers. Their customers can then take that metal utensil, go wherever they want with it, eat it, and then they can deposit it at any participating location or at any location in the community, such as grocery stores, train stations, you name it. We're going to try to be there. Once they dispose of it, we pick it up, we clean it, and then we redistribute it. So I needed to test this, and I did. I brought it out into the world and had great response. People wanted to replace their utensils. They wanted to get it started right away, but all of them had the same question: what if they're not returned? And that was a big question. So we go back to the premise: reusable utensils. Hotels rebrand, restaurants shut down, IHOP just shut quite a few, and those utensils are still viable. They don't need to go into landfills. And oftentimes, they look for places to donate. We can be that place. So really, Borrowed Good is a system for change to divert waste. It's business viable with 40 billion plastic utensils used in the US per year. If we do a subscription service to restaurants, keeping the cost about even, that 1% of that is $8 million. It's designed for growth. It's a system that then can be adopted to plastic cups, replacing them, or bags. And I already saw that consumers want it, restaurants want it, and the world needs it. So this is Borrowed Good. And if you go to borrowedgood.org, I would love for you to sign up, give me your insights, or give it to me right here. That'd be great. So thanks.
Okay, that's scary about tap water. Stay up here. So isn't it incredible how systemic these three women are? They are all systems thinkers. They're all doing service design. They're all visual thinkers. They're visualizers. They're thinking about making the future better for human beings. They're using consumer insight very comfortably. I mean, like, such a wow. So, you know, I'm a partnerships person too, like Regina, and so who would be a good partner for this project? Well, Waste Management. I'm sure there are a lot of other big manufacturers, Dow Chemical. Whoever manufactures plastic, I would go to them first, although they might, you know, throw you off the premises. But what else would you have Aaron do to bring this project forward and have it go live? So I'm going to just throw one in and do a little shout out to my friend Robert Wong, who's over here from Google, and I'll come to you in a second. You're so lucky to hear from Robert. He runs brand design at Google, and he's going to tell you a story that I've heard once about how he pitched to the CEO how they should redesign Google with paper, with a big piece of paper. And I'm a real believer in the whole idea on one page. So what I'd love to see you do is have that whole idea on a systems map and take it and lay it down with a bunch of spoons and forks. And there's another guy named Peter Toom, who is one of my idols, who 10 years ago started two companies, Fonderie 47 and Liberty United. He was in Africa, and he saw all of the violence and the damage done to kids by guns, so he said, enough. He started buying guns, melting them down, creating luxury jewelry with some of the great jewelers in New York, selling the luxury jewelry for a lot of money, buying more guns, melting them down. You know, beautiful, virtuous circle. Okay, in the back, you had an idea. Please stand up. People are inherently lazy, yes. So like a movement, like Mothers Against Drunk Driving, sort of a big... Can somebody relay that message up who's sitting in the middle? Because we didn't hear the very end of it. Mr. Wells Fargo. Okay. So get on Oprah. I mean, front page of the New York Times. In the back. Stand up. Chobani's in the house. Okay, back over there.
I thought it might be a great idea to, there seems to be a lot of trend about hiring teenagers or homeless people.
Yes.
Giving them sort of paying jobs, and this would be a great way to
There are a lot of great models for that. Please.
I think this is beyond just utensils.
Beyond utensils.
Agreed.
As plastic and
Agreed.
At L'Oreal, sustainability is sort of our mission as well. I'd like to connect that.
Okay, L'Oreal Sustainability is now connecting with Erin. Yes, and that's great. That's what we want to have happen. And you're right, it's so much bigger. And so what you have, all of you have going for you is a much bigger story. You're all addressing big, deep human issues. So you can go the distance with your vision for these incredible companies that you have started in your late 20s and early 30s. I mean, so impressive. One more, and then we're going to vote.
Well, I was thinking,
Stand up for us, and shout.
how about like we all have portable bottles to drink our water? Maybe design super cool portable utensils, something you can keep it in your purse. You can wash it, and you don't have to find that spot to dispense.
So
I would love to give you one of my things that I've created for Kickstarter. It's a bag.
Like if
Yes.
we have accessories on our bags, maybe that cooler
Okay.
accessory.
there is a tradition of innovation coming from adjacencies. So we have just got accessories and utensils merging, and we didn't think we were going to wear iPhones on our wrists. So I can see a fork on the other one. It could happen. And with that, thank you, Erin. Thank you. Okay, this is too much fun, and I have to say again, it's such a thrill to be here, and I want to thank Kelly and Anastasia and Romina and all the people from Connect 365, which, you know, they do these conferences all over the country, and I was at the back end of innovation, which is one of my favorites. It's smaller, it's more intimate, but I had a very strange experience whenever that was last summer. I did a panel with some friends of mine called Design and Innovation, Why Aren't They Better Friends? Now, these three women don't really distinguish between design and innovation. And by the way, you can vote while I'm talking, so go ahead and vote. But as designers and marketers and people who build brands, we are innovators. And somebody in the audience at BEI said the scariest thing to me. She said, okay, I get it. Designers should be involved from the very beginning in any new product or service launch. But should they be, does it need to be designers or could it be design thinkers? Whoa, that was an interesting question. So I asked these three women what they want to do, and they all told me some version of the same answer, which is they want to innovate a new company. And so I think part of our mission at AIGA is to create a platform for people like you and people like Robert Wong, who is going to be, along with some of his colleagues, the recipient of the Corporate Leadership Award from AIGA next week, because Google has really emerged as a design-driven company, because like Neil Parker said yesterday, they kind of care about how all the puzzle pieces fit together. I was inspired by Warby Parker's story. I'm very inspired by Google, and I'm very inspired by designers. And what we're really trying to do at AIGA is advocate for all of you and advocate for design excellence. And I'll just close by saying that next Friday we're launching a campaign called Double or Nothing, designed by Pentagram, run by Blue State Digital, which is, the goal is to double the number of women in leadership. We're going to be having a breakfast at 9 o'clock at Stone Yamashita and IDEO. If you want to join us, male or female, see my colleague Faustina standing next to the big I. And without further ado, are we close to having the winner? Okay, while she's coming in, what was it like to see these three up here? Give me a couple of words, just a couple of words from each of you. Just some words. Empowering? Inspiring. What else? Liberating. Excited. Anybody over there? Any words? Smart. Confidence in the future. is kind of like a drug. Like, I love to work with young designers and be in a mentoring role and help people grow. That turns me on. I don't know if it turns you on, but if it does, at AIGA we want to do a lot more of this. And I lied when I said we're starting with high school kids. We're actually starting very early in kindergarten. K through 12 is a big focus of ours going forward, because if you don't start then, you don't get it done. So if you are interested in that, also come find me. I'll be around. And with that, I told them all they were winners, but one of them actually got more votes, so we have to go with the metrics. Wow. It's actually the person who needs the money most. Erin Tilley. Welcome. Congratulations. And I'm teasing because she's freelancing right now, but I'm absolutely thrilled that you won. I do want to say, Rose and Regina, like, you are total winners too, and these projects are all going to go forward. It's very clear, because you guys are awesome. Thank you all so much. Here's the money.